Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
It's in our blood, it's in our bones, orange and brown, yeah, we ride for our own like a dog pack running. We ain't alone, game day comes, get ready for the show. It's our call, it's our bark, it's our song. We stand tall, yeah, we've been here all along. Through it all, the dog pound standing strong. We all dogs, yeah, we all dogs. Welcome to the Dogs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reniker, Justin Shawls, Kenny Mack, and Josh All. We all dogs!
What's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Josh, Kenny, and myself with you here tonight. Coming to you on a nice live episode here to discuss the first couple days of padded practice. There's been 2 days of padded practice now, I believe. I'm still... I don't want to say I'm out of the loop, but not as vested yet, just because of how busy my life is. I'm currently doing a backsplash. If you know anything about me, that means I'm really busy. But we got a fun one lined up for you guys tonight. Obviously, we're going to talk about training camp thus far, some risers, fallers, QB talk, all that good stuff. Before we get into it, though, remember, if you want to get voicemails on the show, head to thedogspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail in the drop-down menu. I'm very proud of myself. I just said that without mentioning an intro for the first time in 5 years. So we used to do intros on this show. We don't really do them anymore. And I always say, if you want to get your intros on the show, don't send us your intros. We're not going to play them. It's a thing of the past. We're moving on.
Old habits die hard.
Yes, but if you want to get your voicemail,
got called out.
Yeah, if you want to get your voicemail on the show, head to thedogspodcast.com. Just tap leave voicemail in the drop-down menu. We love hearing from you guys, especially here as we're ramping up into training camp and into the joint practices are right around the corner and all that good stuff. So we want to hear your guys' thoughts. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Make sure you tap the notification bell so you don't miss any of the content we're putting out. You can listen on Apple and Spotify. You can find us on all the major social media platforms. Just search at The Dogs Podcast. And lastly, if you want more Dogs content, head to jointhedogs.com, become an official Dogback member on the Patreon page, get access to the private Discord, play fantasy football with us. This is the last week to sign up, right?
That's right.
That is right. Sunday is the cutoff.
Get on it, guys.
Yes. How many leagues are we up to now, Josh?
We're going to probably be rocking 10.
No, get out of here.
Maybe
10
wow.
Is that 10-person leagues?
Yes.
10 per. Man, I'm going to have to quit my job to manage fantasy leagues.
So it's crazy.
I just want to thank everybody who signed up. I mean, that's incredible for us. I think the first year we did this, did we have one or two?
Two, maybe.
Two. We had.
Then we went up to 4 the next year.
Yeah, and in the first year it was 10 two-person leagues, and I bet you that second league, at least a fourth, if not half of that second league, was people doing both. But we had an over. We had like an odd amount of people who joined. And now we're up to 10 in multiple dynasty leagues. I mean, so just thank you to everybody who's joined the Dog Pack and supported the show, and they're going to play fantasy football with us. It's a ton of fun to do, and it's a good way to just like interact with Browns fans and meet people from all over the country and all over the globe. So huge thank you to everybody who's joined 10 leagues. That's crazy.
And I did want to throw this out there too. If anybody out there is looking for a draft guide, a fantasy football draft guide for your drafts, we just teamed up with Draft Day Dudes. So go to draftdaydudes.com. You can purchase their draft, fantasy football draft. It's only $7.99, and you get 20% off with code DAWGS, DAWGS. So go check that out. I think that would be It's not super expensive, and it's tiered based rankings. Really help you out during your fantasy drafts this year.
Awesome. So as we move in here into the I'll call it the meat and potatoes of our episode, initially we just kind of want to get into obviously the big topic of the Browns camp and practice is the quarterback competition. It's all anybody's talking about locally. I mean, dominates a lot of our videos and even national media. That's the talk of the Browns is who's going to start at quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Up to this point, it's basically been a two-man race between Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson. This week, we start to hear Dillon Gabriel's name starts creeping in there. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I can tell you that I'm not buying the hype, man. I know, you know what? It's typical Cleveland, I don't know, fans, media. We always just want to be in love with the next guy. And like, I totally get it. Like, I mean, obviously he's accurate. We make fun of him being a supercomputer. He does enough. He's smart enough. He's poised and he's done enough, but I'm not buying it. And the biggest thing is with him, it's just, I don't know, man. The fact that people, I think, is just overreacting to these clean practices, and they're just not looking at the full picture. And like I just said earlier, like he's accurate, he makes quick decisions. His turnover numbers are, I mean, lower than Deshaun's, and I guess that's kind of positive. But I mean, really, at the end of the day, like today just took a step backwards again. So in my opinion, I think that Sanders just has a much higher ceiling. He plays with better anticipation, shows ability to extend plays. I mean, he showed that last year. I don't know about you guys, man, but I'm super excited about this chemistry that I'm seeing with Denzel Boston. Looks fantastic. And overall, I mean, the reps matter. If you take a look at what Josh puts together for us, he's still mid-bottom on that. Like Taylor Green's just getting the least amount of reps. He's still the third worst in getting those reps. So through these 6 practices for me, I think Sanders is just heads and tails above him, and it's just media wanting to talk about something else other than the other 2 guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy flipping on. Well, I don't even turn on the radio. I just scroll Twitter in the morning and I see 92.3 and Ken Carmen. These guys are talking about, well, if Deshaun and Shedeur both suck, then we got to look at Dillon Gabriel. And if he's having great practices, blah, blah, blah. Like, first of all, I haven't outside of, first of all, Ken Carmen even said, I haven't been to training camp. So I don't know where he's coming up with his stuff. I see a lot of people that have said Shedeur Sanders has put together some pretty sharp practices out there. I mean, he was 21 of 25 today against the first team defense. Dillon Gabriel's going against third string. So, you know, if people are saying, hey, this guy's been looking sharp, he's been in rhythm, he's completing his passes, there's a big difference between the Browns' first team defense and their third stringers.
Yeah, just a great point, man.
Obviously, there's a huge difference. I play a little bit of devil's advocate. Last year, we did a lot of hype of Shedeur as he was going against like trash cans and practice squad guys in practice. Why Dillon's numbers in practice against the ones were not good. So if we did it for one guy, I can understand why people are doing it for Dillon now to be like, you know, look at his, you know, how he's playing against third stringers. To me, it's one of those things. Didn't Todd Monken say something about Dillon Gabriel playing well? Or is it all media? I thought I saw something about Todd Monken saying something like maybe he needs more of a look because he's playing.
It was a leading question from a media member. So basically, ask him if he's looking good. Are you going to give him more of an opportunity? And he was like, yeah, if he keeps stacking good practices, we'll have to give him a look or something. You know, I think it was his answer. It wasn't so much he brought it up.
Okay,
I'm glad that Blake asked that because the way I took it is like we will give him if he does better. Like I just kind of heard Moncton say, or maybe this is the way I heard it, but he just didn't do enough to go backwards. He's just even Steven, like he's not moving forward or back. He's just stacking okay practices. That's what I kind of heard.
I take it. So I came on here today expecting to be like, I don't know if any of these quarterbacks are playing well to be a starter for the Browns this year. And then Shedeur had, arguably his best practice so far today. So it's like, well, do I even bring that up? one thing that worries me about the entire quarterback competition, obviously I think Shedeur should start. I definitely don't want to watch Dillon Gabriel play for the Browns. And I definitely don't want to watch Deshaun Watson take any snaps for the Browns. Shedeur Sanders should be the starter just for the mere, if everything's even, he should be the starter just because we already know what we have with the other two guys. Let's let the guy play and see what we have and know what we have to do next year. One thing that scares me a little bit about this is that we went from Todd Monken wanting to name a starter in OTAs to now talking about, we'll keep evaluating through the preseason and, we're not rushed to make a decision. That tells me that nobody's taking charge of the competition. If somebody was leaps and bounds better, we would start. There would be talks of this guy's clearly going to be the starter. He's clearly playing better. He's starting to get more of the reps. So we're not seeing any of that. And by all accounts, from what I've heard, is like nobody's really been that good. There's been some moments for everybody. Maybe Shedeur's been the best one, but he's just been the best of the bad guys. Again, I'm not at training camp. This is just what I'm hearing from a whole bunch of places. That makes me a little bit nervous for the offense. Also being said, though, we're on week 2, day 2 of a new offensive install with all new players, all new offensive coaches. A lot of our all new players are first or second year players. And they're going against a defense that was just one of the best defenses in the league. And I know they lost Myles Garrett, but this defense is still a very good defense. So of course they're going to be behind, So I just think you have to take everything right now with a little bit of a grain of salt. I don't know which quarterback's going to win the competition right now. If you would have asked me like a month ago, I thought there was no chance anybody but Shedeur starts. Now, who knows? I still think it's Shedeur. Like if I was betting, I would say Shedeur is going to be the starter, and he should be. But I just think like it's not crazy to believe that the offense is behind the defense right now, and maybe nobody's separating. It just, the skeptic in me is like, wait, we wanted to name a starter 3 months ago, and now we're talking about we might see multiple preseason games and not have one picked yet. That tells me nobody's taken charge.
So one thing, and this is all speculation on my part. I've got nothing really to back this up other than, back in whatever it was during the season when Deshaun was able to go to practice and, people within the organization were saying, oh man, he looks like the best quarterback out here right now. And of course he's in shorts and stuff, throwing the ball around. I get the feeling in the sense that the Browns were expecting Deshaun Watson to be a little bit better than what he is. I think there was some hope that he would be able to at least start the season for them. And then as training camp has gone on, it's apparent he's done. Like, I don't think he can play football.
So I will say this, from what I've heard, obviously I saw somebody say, watch the film. There's no practice film of training camp. There's highlight clips we see from the sideline. But Shedeur is, he looks better at a lot of things. Maybe it's, his better still isn't what they want it to be, but he's improved. And everything I'm hearing from Deshaun is it's just more of the same. Maybe he'll make a throw and his next 5 are dirted or intercepted, So like that alone tells you that Shedeur should start. Yeah. He's at least doing this. I don't know if it my camera hands. Yeah. He's at least doing this. Okay. And Deshaun has done this, or even he's doing this.
Well,
so
when that QB, and again, QB tracker, take it with a grain of salt and everything. But when it came out today, I kind of stopped in my tracks when I saw it because it was Shedeur 21-25. First of all, I'm like, well, that's pretty damn good. He was with the first team today. And then it was the next line, though, that really floored me. Deshaun Watson, 5 of 11. There has been no lopsidedness to this quarterback competition to this point. It's been one guy gets 21 reps, the other guy gets 20. One guy gets 19, the other guy gets 21 or whatever. It's pretty close. Not today, man. Today it was very heavy in favor of Shedeur.
One thing I want to point out too about Deshaun Watson, and I've said this several times on the podcast. I'm not sure if Blake's been on when I've said it, but anytime we've ever had any information about Deshaun Watson, it's been about how he looks better, how he physically looks, how he looks like he's running faster. There's nothing about he plays football better. He's reading a defense better. There's nothing about that. It's just all this cosmetic stuff about him and the way he is on the practice field, and nothing about reading plays, except who's the one guy that's been telling us about how he's been reading plays? It's Zach Jackson. And it hasn't been good because he's the only guy that seems to know, other than Lance Riesling has been able to put together some kind of like, this quarterback can put this protection in. Those are the only guys that I've been reading of late.
I'm curious to see how the reps. So like today was a very unbalanced in favor of Shedeur against the ones. Is he committed to an every other day approach all the way through joint practices in a preseason game? Or is it like, oh, Shedeur was really good today. Tomorrow was supposed to be Deshaun's time with the ones, but let's let Shedeur get time with the ones again because he just had such a great practice. Why take that momentum away? Let him see if he can build on another. Like, I guess I wish I kind of knew, like, had some insight into what the approach was going to be. Is it like a nope, they're every other day until we pick a starter? Or is it like a no, he just had a great day. We're going to let him go out and try to have another great day and see if he can put some distance between himself and the rest of the guys because he played well. So I kind of wish like we were privy to that. I just would prefer less guessing. I hate like speculation, media speculation. I hate all that.
Yeah.
I just want some answers.
Like Ron here in the chat says, 92.3 keeps saying Shedeur is messing up on the pre-snap. He's still taking too long to process. Today was a lot of dump-offs. That's why his stats are good. I saw Tony Grossi post on Twitter too. He said, today a lot of short passes, no highlight throws, no highlight catches. I was like, I saw several. Like the one to Luke Floria down, like where he dropped it in the bucket on the deep throw, like that was a highlight reel. Like Daniel Ofusi's like, that was the highlight of the day. And then he was hitting like Denzel Boston, deep intermediate. Gage Larvadan had a couple downfield targets and completions from Shedeur. So the media, I don't really know. We don't know what they're installing. So like the first day of camp, Todd Monken even said, like the next day, we were working on short throws yesterday because everyone was like, oh, all we're doing is checkdowns. Yes, because that's what we were working on. So it's really hard to tell because we don't get the practice sheet. We don't get the game plan. We don't know. They're not giving that to anybody. So we're just going off of video clips and what these guys are reporting from being there.
Well, and it's one of those things too where like that's why you got to take the QB tracker. Does any other team do a QB tracker for practice?
They do. There are other ones out there. I've seen them.
I was curious.
The Eagles do for sure. I think it came from like Carolina or something. I can't remember.
I saw that Shedeur led like a 2-minute drive, led a field goal, like what would have been like a game-winning field goal or something, 2-minute drive, by methodically moving them down the field. Yes, we want to stretch the ball. We don't want to be a Dillon Gabriel dink and dunk offense, but the way defenses have adjusted to offenses in the last couple of seasons, you're not just chucking the ball down the field every play. Yes, you have to stretch the ball sometimes, but you got to pick your spots. You got to be willing to be a little Tom Brady-ish where he'd kill you. He'd throw it to his running back 6 times in a row if you left him open because he knew if this guy got 5 yards every reception, we were never going to get off the field. We were going to get a first down every 2 plays. He was the master of taking what the defense can give you. Now, if you're checking down because you're not making the right read, you're not reading the defense quick enough. You're not seeing stuff. That's one thing. But if you're taking what the defense is giving you and you're getting 5 yards on a check down and you do that, eventually that's going to suck up the defense. They're going to have to start playing up. And then that's where you hit them deep with Denzel Boston over the top. So we can't just be out here. This isn't flag football where it's huck it, chuck it football, Hail Mary every single pass. You got to be able and willing to hit those checkdowns. If you're not willing to throw it to them, they'll leave it open all day. And you won't complete a pass downfield. And they'll just leave those guys. If you're not willing to hit those guys and let your athlete make a play in space. If you hit KC on a little 3-yard out, that could turn into a 35-yard gain because he's electric with the ball in his hands. We finally have athletes who can make plays. At least that's the way it appears in camp so far. So, like, I'm not mad if he's taking what the defense is giving him. If he's not seeing things, if he's not processing, if he's not seeing things, that's a different story. But we don't know that because we don't know what the play is called and we don't know what coaches are telling them. So, again, that's why like the practice speculations kind of sucks.
Yeah, did you see the last play of practice yesterday where he hit Gage Larvadan in the back of the end zone for that touchdown?
Yeah, that was a drop in the bucket. That was
drop in the bucket. And they said that before that play, Shador set the protection on that side of the line, called the tight end in to add some protection over there and set himself up to be able to make that throw. And there, I forget who posted it, and I'd shout him out if I could see it, but it might have been Brown's Film Breakdown or whatever. And they were saying, like, that was encouraging to see that he's out there commanding the offense, putting protection in place, and then he hits the guy for the touchdown pass. And it's like the only person who's had any downfield highlight throws at all has been Shador this entire camp.
His accuracy's still elite. Like, it's
ball placement
is
like, awesome.
If he figures out and he just continues to get better at the mental side of the game, you know, seeing things quicker, playing on time, on target, that kind of, he could be really good. You know, it's just that we've talked about it a million times on here. 90% of being a good quarterback is between the ears. A lot of us think that's why Deshaun can't cut it anymore. It's too much has gone on. The brain's fried, you know? And so if Shador gets that part of it down, you know, and by all accounts, he puts in the work, you know, he studies, he's there early, he works with people. So for anybody else to start, man, it would be criminal. It would be so stupid.
Yeah. This episode is sponsored by Kalshi. All right, Browns fans, you know, we've all messed around with the sports books before, right? And let's be honest, you're always kind of playing against the house. But with Kalshi, it's different. You're not betting against some sports book. You're trading against other real-world people. There's no house trying to beat you. Kalshi just runs the marketplace. So if you think the public is wrong and the Browns can make the playoffs in Todd Monken's first year, or Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston, one of those guys can win Offensive Rookie of the Year, you can take the other side of the market, and then if you're right, that's a big payout for you. And it's not just sports either. You can trade on other real-world stuff, interest rates, inflation, even wild weather outcomes. It works like this. Simple yes or no markets, your risk is capped up front, and your payout is locked in. So if you trust your takes and instincts, and I know you guys do, go check out Kalshi and see what markets are live right now. So use our link in the description or just head over to kalshi.com/dogs, KALSHI.com/dogs, DAWGS, to earn up to $500 when you trade 25. Kalshi, because why shouldn't you guys get paid for being right?
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
That's kind of our take on the quarterback competition. Obviously, well, I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit more as this episode goes. We want to kind of get into the rest of the training camp. Before we do, though, we have a voicemail from Stacy. Again, if you want to get your voicemails, it's thedogpodcast.com. Just tap leave voicemail in the drop-down menu.
Yes, so we'll kick it over to our very own sideline reporter, Stacy.
Hey guys, it's Stacy here. I just wanted to leave a voicemail because I actually just got done being at the Browns training camp for the day. I did want to preface any of my notes here with the fact that I am 5'2", so I was able to see as much as I could possibly see. If I didn't get anything or miss something, blame the people standing in front of me, not me. Anyways, the biggest thing I took from training camp that stood out to me was Shador Sanders definitely took significantly more reps than any of the other quarterbacks today. He was working with the first team offense alongside Elgton Jenkins at center and Kevin's guy, KT Leviston at guard. The starting offensive line was Fano, Johnson, Jenkins, Leviston, and Howard. And then Deshaun Watson was working with the second team offense most of the day with Brailsford at center. From what I saw, there were quite a few overthrows from both Dillon Green and Dillon Gabriel. They're definitely looking like backup quarterbacks, third-string quarterbacks, that's for sure. Shador himself had a couple of really nice throws, including an absolute dime to Luke Floria that he dropped right in the bucket.
There you go.
Casey was limited to no contact work because of his shoulder injury, and then Carson and Kalia Davis were also not practicing from what I saw. One thing that caught my eye on special teams was Denzel Boston was actually fielding kickoffs. I don't know if that was just because Casey was limited or if they actually were giving Boston a look as a returner, but definitely something that was different. And then as far as defense, I thought as far as the corners go, Michael Coach Jr. and Ross both had absolutely great days. Coach Jr. was blanketing receivers and giving them almost no separation, while Ross had some breakups along with an interception. And then another random observation I noticed was Isaiah Bond is absolutely built, and Taylor Green is an absolute mountain of a human being. I know he's a quarterback, but can we please get that man to be a wide receiver? Last thing, I did notice Jack Stoll was practicing with the fullbacks as fullback number 1 during drills. That was interesting as well. And if anybody knows how I can become a Browns ball girl, you let me know and I will be there. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed my voicemail. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
We should get Stacy on the payroll. She just gave a better breakdown of practice of anybody of any halftime I'm up at practice. I can't tell what's going on.
No, that was better than Grossi or any of those guys are going to give.
She killed it, man.
Yeah, of course we enjoyed your voicemail, Stacy. I liked her comment about Isaiah Bond. Like, I think he's kind of flying under the radar because we have Boston and KC, and they're kind of popping in practice. But I think between Boston and KC and Isaiah Bond, like, I think Jerry Jeudy, I know Josh has put out a video about this, could be traded. I think Jeudy could be phased out pretty early in this thing. He's, I would say, the least athletic of, he's the least dangerous with the ball in his hand, at least in my opinion.
He's the softest too.
Yeah, so I'm liking what I'm seeing on them. I saw a couple comments here I wanted to get to before we got too far. T-Ray's watching and listening from South Korea, so that's like insane.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
what time is it in South Korea? Because that's crazy. If it's late, get some sleep, bro. Well, this will be on YouTube tomorrow. And then KC and Boston haven't even been taking all the reps with the ones. Correct me if I'm wrong. Does it seem like they're kind of floating with where Shador's going?
Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
I think that's telling.
And so is Spencer Fano.
You know what I mean? Like that, because here's we might not know what the future is at quarterback. We know KC and Boston are playing. They didn't draft those dudes where they drafted him. They're not riding the pine. Like, those guys are playing, and you're not having, if you really thought like Deshaun had the leg up, or like you really thought he's going to win this competition, you'd want him building rhythm with those guys right now. No, by the time we get to preseason and the season, it's going to be Shador who has the timing and stuff down with them. So I think that's really telling.
I think that's what I thought too.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say with Stacy, I got a couple more notes from her just because I was kind of like pushing her to give me some information while she was there, right? And the one thing that I wanted to point out that she said the amount of contact and physicality was super high compared to Kevin Stefanski practices. And this is like a reoccurring theme that we've constantly heard. The other thing, she made a mistake when she said Kevin's guy, supposed to be Kenny Mack's guy.
Yeah.
It was KT Levison. She made that mistake as well. And then the worst part of practice, other than the heat and sweating her ass off out there, was basically the overthrows by everybody but Shador. The last but not least, what she did point out, though, is that D'Angelo Ross guy he's been trending up lately. I don't know if you saw his interception today, but he basically kind of got beat, caught up, punched the ball out, and got it to himself on a long pass. So that looked really good.
I see a lot of people here saying Stacy was great and to get her on the payroll. So hopefully she doesn't have a good agent. We can get her on the cheap. So is there, I guess we can kind of talk about some risers and fallers. There's some other guys you guys have noticed in camp. Who has been like the most impressive for you guys so far? Or I guess we can roll it into one most surprising guy you've been the most excited to watch, just kind of like in that general category.
I'm going to say a name, and then I'm going to kick it straight over to Kenny Mack to talk about him because it's his dude, and she talked about it. I think KT Leviston's going to win that right guard spot. I think Tevin Jenkins nowhere to be found. He's injured again. He didn't practice all OTAs. And if I remember correctly, he was injured and off to the sideline. Not practicing now. I just don't know how you're going to build chemistry and fight for a starting job on the line when you're not practicing. So, Kenny, tell everybody about KT Leviston and why he's going to be okay at right guard.
Yeah, if you guys have been watching for the last couple of weeks, like basically KT is a guy that while he played tackle in college, he's played tackle for us. You have to take a look at what his strengths are. I'll tell you the main one right now. One of the strengths in his draft profile is that he plays well in phone booth type areas. Phone booth type areas is exactly what you want from a guard. He's got short initial bursts and he's a strong, big dude. I think he's 6'4", 335. That's off the top of my head. I can't find the stats right now, but he is a guy that is built to be a guard, and it's showing, and he is getting his opportunity, whether it's with injury with Tevin Jenkins, and he's going to seize the day, and he's a guy for me that his stock is up, and I am buying.
Blake, any thoughts on KT? I know last year he was turnstile, but
I know I feel like that was a guy that, well, we did not enjoy watching play last year, but also like there were some things he did well and some things he didn't. It was like if he could improve on some of these, maybe. Here's the thing. Are you guys worried at all about the offensive line? I know this is supposed to be positive, but we've heard all camp so far about how the defensive line has just been dominating the offensive line. And I know, obviously, I spent the first 5 minutes of this episode talking about how, yeah, the defense is going to be ahead of the offense. That's like an execution, I would say. A lot up front, man. That's just about, dudes on dudes, without being gross. But
that's just let it go.
No, that's just but that's just who wants it more, And I know they weren't. Kenny and I kind of talked about this, when they weren't in pads yet, and people were talking about like, well, the pads aren't even on, so of course, like these guys are living in the backfield and all this stuff. I played offensive line. Obviously, I didn't play in the NFL, but even when you don't have pads on, it's basically full go. So if the defense is going hard enough that they can penetrate, the offense can go hard enough to stop them. So it's a little concerning, like that they've been Swiss cheese early, because we've talked about this. That's the offense is going nowhere if the offensive line doesn't play better. Like
I'll tell you,
if they're not better than last
concern.
year, we're toast. We're cooked from the rip. I don't care how good any of the other guys play.
Dude, my main concern is this. Who was practicing today? So listen to this. Mike Hall Jr., Kalea Davis, Mason Graham, Malik Collins. And our defensive line is dominating these guys. That's not good.
No.
Who's out there?
I was going to say, on my fallers list, I have the defensive tackle position because nobody's there.
Yeah, I might go up and try out.
Dude, you might as well. You might make the roster at least for a day. I mean, so Mike Hall Jr. got a little bit of buzz last week. It was like, wow, this guy's flying off the line. He's fast. He's in the backfield. He's looking good. Year 3, maybe this is finally the breakout. We kind of been waiting for Mike Hall. Week 2, injured. I'm like, every year. This is it.
That guy, he gets shipped for all I care at this point. If we were deeper, he'd be on the block.
Yeah.
He'd be on the, like...
Yeah,
it's crazy.
not.
To Kenny's point, it was Aiden Huntington and Elijah Chapman were our starting defensive tackles today.
Which we liked what Huntington did last year. But
Yeah, I'm not trying to like downplay Huntington, but not as your main defense, like your DT1. No. That's who we're rocking right now. And you're right, the offensive line's struggling.
Real quick, big shout out for the super chat from Cam V6M60. He love from South Africa, incredible. The fact that we're reaching people from overseas is just crazy. But
yeah, that's insane.
Educate me. What is 30? What is ZAR? What is that money? I've never seen ZAR before.
Oh, well, you got some.
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever gotten any ZAR. So. All right, that threw me off a little bit. I got excited when I saw that.
Well, I've got a couple other riser faller if you want them real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So same position. I've got a riser and a faller. Riser at wide receiver for me is Dillon Wallace. I've been seeing people that are at camp posting like he's 100% making the roster. 100%. He's First of all, we know he's here for the special teams. He's here for the return game and the other units on special teams. He's running with the first team offense, but that's primarily because we got a lot of veterans. Our veterans are running with the first team, except for one, which is my faller. But he's making plays. He's making big catches, and I don't know if it was Baltimore just did not have a very high-profile passing attack with their wide receivers over the years. Maybe Dillon Wallace is a little bit better of a receiver than what he was able to show in Baltimore. I don't know. But my faller, definitely Cedric Tillman, who can't break away from the third string offense. Not good. Yeah. Not good.
Yeah,
that's not good at all.
He's toast.
I think so. I think, yeah.
If you would have told me that, like, on his couple game stretch where, like, it seemed like he was starting to ascend, I would have said you're crazy. But if you just can't, the best ability is dependability. And if you're never on it's the reason why Mike Hall might not, like, you have to be able to be on the field with some kind of consistency.
Yeah.
And the dude just gets hurt so often that even when he'll have 2 good games in a row and then he misses 6 games. It's like, well, now his conditioning's out of whack. He hasn't played in a month and a half. And then it takes 3 games to get back into it. Well, 3/4 of the season's done. You've had 2 good games again. So it's like that's the question now is when Cedric Tillman gets cut, does he get picked up anywhere?
I don't know, man. I mean, Blackacre, Whiteacre in the chat says, sorry, Cedric Tillman is lazy. It's interesting. I wonder if there is other things going on behind the scenes as well with maybe work ethic and things like that, because what we've seen for the first bit of training camp here is the veterans are being given the preference on the first team. So you've got Jerry Jeudy, Dillon Wallace. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to. Isaiah Bond, yes, but now, and that's a second year, veteran, not like a tenured veteran. You got Gage Larvidan's running with the ones. The only like veteran who's not with the ones at all is Tillman, and it's very strange. But I think it's the writing's on the wall there.
I would say go ahead.
Kidding. No, go ahead.
I was going to say my stock down would be backup tight end, because right now I don't think Joe Royer has had any practices whatsoever, and now Stacy's telling us, and we said this last time, I think, Josh. We thought Stoll might move to fullback, and he got those fullback reps. Well, so that means you just
Michael
have
Burton
Ryan.
didn't practice today, so there might have had something to do with that too. But go ahead.
Oh, good point. Yeah. Well, he's there now, so. If he's hurt and gets an injury settlement, then, and you know what I mean? So, but that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. But then that leaves Carson Ryan and Blake Whiteheart and Brendan Bates, right? So I would like to have somebody a little bit more like that can block and play and do something. So we need somebody there. Let's do it.
What's going on with Royer?
Personal issue. Hasn't been to camp yet. Don't know.
That's the kid from Cincinnati, right?
I was excited about him too.
Yeah. That's like, can the Browns just like somehow avoid that? Maybe just one draft in my life. One, what I mean?
Everybody show up. Everybody participate. Yeah.
Yeah. Can we just have like a team of model citizens one time? That would be pretty cool. But I'll tell you, I saw a guy I think who's going to be really good on this defense is McNeil Warren.
Yes.
That dude.
Oh man, good pick.
That dude's. I think that guy's going to be. I think this defense has a chance. I think if we were doing a hot take episode, my hot take would be that this defense might be better this year.
I don't know if it's that hot. I mean, other than we lost Miles and Jim Schwartz, that would be everybody's pushback on you. But
so much of the defense, we weren't winning games, especially once it became apparent we weren't going to win games. So much of the defense was just get Miles sacks, and honestly, like that's been basically what the defense has been like the last 2 years. Just get Miles sacks. He didn't play the run hardly ever. In fact, he was chasing sacks so much we get gashed in the run game a lot. It's just, I just think there's a chance. This defense is young. Jared Verse is hungry. Carson Schwessinger's hungry. Delpit just got an extension. McNeil Warren's hungry. I just think Quincy Williams can play sideline to sideline. I
think Alex Wright's hungry, man. Alex Wright's hungry too.
If we can shore up the interior, if we can get some guys healthy and shore up the interior, I think if Mason Graham takes a leap, I think this
apparently
defense could be,
he's a riser for me, man. He's been in the backfield this entire camp, so he's looking good. It didn't play today. He got some kind of undisclosed injury, I guess, but he's a guy he's taken the next step, and that's what we need for this defense to get going. Like we said last year, somebody's got to collapse the pocket for Miles. Somebody's got to collapse the pocket for Jared Verse and Alex Wright.
Somebody said CDT5 said Royals personal leave is approved, such supported by coaching. If that's the case, I shouldn't have made fun of him for being a bad apple or something. So
as soon as you said that,
all the information.
Maybe it was a death in the family, like something really tragic. We don't know what's going on. So I guess until we know.
Yes, I take back I was being facetious. I apologize.
Another riser on the defensive side, because again, another undisclosed minor injury is what we're being told. Carson Schwarzenegger's not practicing. Easton Mascarenas-Arnold. Ken, you remember we talked about him on the 53-man prediction show, and I said, I think he's definitely making the roster, and he's like the first man up to replace Carson. So he's definitely in that linebacker room.
Yeah, and we need him on special teams. I mean, we're talking a lot about defense right now. We want a quarterback, but our special teams were equally as bad. And a guy like Talon Wallace, a guy like Daniel Thomas, these guys are all kind of on the rise right now because we need these gunners. We need these guys to tackle the returners that are coming up or blowing us up twice against the Jets for 2 touchdowns. And those guys are doing well. So keep those guys going, man.
This episode is sponsored by Dash Dog Food. Browns fans, Butcher Box for Pets has rebranded to Dash Dog Food. Same great products, same great company, just a new name, a new brand, but with that comes an even better deal for you guys. Now you can get 60% off your first subscription order of the premium slow cooked nutrition dog food or the premium fresh dog food. Just go to dashdogfood.com/dogs, DAWGS, and use promo code DOGS. As you guys know, we're the dogs, but let's not kid ourselves. The most important dogs in our lives are, well, our dogs. And they're not just pets, like I said. They're part of the family. So the question is, what are you actually feeding them? At Dash Dog Food, they believe in real ingredients. Their pet foods have been developed and certified by vet nutritionists to contain 0 artificial flavors or preservatives. You get protein-packed formula that includes pre- and postbiotics to support your dog's vitality and their digestion. And speaking of the benefits of Dash Dog Food, Dash delivers their high-quality food right to your door. So just choose the delivery schedule you need for your dog, and you can change, modify, or pause your plan at any time. So try it out today. Your dog will love you for upgrading their meal times. dashdogfood.com/dogs and use promo code DOGS to get 60, not 50, but now 60% off your first subscription order of the premium slow cooked nutrition fresh dog food or the premium fresh dog food. Minimum purchase of $34, 60% discount applies to subscription orders only, 1 use per customer, cancel at any time. Browns fans, if you're looking for a great fantasy football draft guide, we've got the answer for you. We just teamed up with Draft Day Dudes for their 2026 fantasy football draft guide. And the best part, it's just $7.99. It updates free every week until kickoff. So go to draftdaydudes.com, use code DOGS, DAWGS, to get yourself 20% off the best fantasy football draft guide. And what I like best about this draft guide, they use tier-based ranking, not just a standard rank list, so you can see where are the talent cliffs at each position when you're actually on the clock. They've got tiered big boards for standard, PPR, Superflex, plus their positional ranking, sleepers, busts, and the rookie class. So don't wait. Fantasy drafts are coming fast. Go to draftdaydudes.com. Use code DOGS, DAWGS, to get 20% off the Draft Day Dudes Fantasy Football Draft Guide, just $7.99, plus you get 20% off with code DOGS at checkout.
When is, I guess this, I just had a thought pop in my head. When is our joint practice?
That would be the 20th, I think. We
With the
played the Bills
Bills
on the 22nd, so I believe the joint practice is the 20th.
So call me crazy. I would call me crazy. I'd like to have some of this stuff sorted out by then.
We need
know
the
what I mean?
O-line figured out.
The O-line, honestly, I'd love to have QB figured out. I'd love for whoever our number one QB is going to be to be able to get those reps against the defense. And that, you know what I mean? Just like I'm hoping. I know, like we were talking about some other stuff, and it just popped in my head. But man, I hope we get some stuff figured out soon. We're only a week and 2 days in, but like there's not a ton of time. Like football preseason's kind of quick. Like it's like a month, and all of a sudden you got games. You can't waste 3 weeks. This isn't NBA where you got summer league and all this stuff months leading up into the season, and where you play 82 games. You got 17 games. So you can't be wasting time figuring stuff out up until week 1 and then take 5 weeks of the regular season to be gelling. So hopefully we can get some of this stuff figured out.
I agree with you. Like at the wide receiver spot, I do think it's, we already talked about Tillman and stuff. I think he's out. I think Tillman Wallace and I think Gage Larvadan probably lock down those last, the 4th and 5th spots. 5th and 6th spots if we only keep 6.
Do you think?
Yeah, I know we were talking about. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Kenny.
I said we were talking about Corley, but at this point, since last time we spoke, Josh, I think
he's all
about Corley at this point. Yeah. So I like Larvadan way better. He's got returning skills, probably better than Corley at this point. So we'll see what happens.
That's kind of crazy too, because I think we were all kind of like interested to see what he could do, because he flashed a little bit on an offense that didn't have anything. He flashed a little bit last year for us.
He did.
He was our jet sweep guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll see.
How long until Denzel Boston's our one? Is he already the one?
Oh man, I would say so.
I don't think he's going to let anybody else take the one. Oh, Blackacre, Whiteacre. Thank you, Jamari Thrash. That was another guy that I think was a veteran running with the ones until he got hurt. But yeah, back to Boston. Holy crap, man! You talk about a riser. Obviously, we draft him. He's got first-round pedigree. He didn't get the capital, but he was projected to be a first-round pick and everything. He's just mossing everybody. He catches everything. He's always open. He's got alpha just kind of written all over him.
I'm very excited for it. I wanted him when we took KC. So the fact that I'm very happy that we were still able to land him, and then I'm even happier that he's kind of like, at least in camp so far, living up to the billing. We have not had a guy like that. Josh Gordon. That's it in my life. One season of Braylon Edwards. One season he could catch the football.
We had one season of Terrell Pryor, and a little bit here and there with Donovan Peoples-Jones, where it was like, hey, maybe, but nah, that was getting our hopes up.
No, man, this guy's completely made me forget about Carnell Tate. I'm like, I wanted Tate so bad. I wanted to draft him so bad, not because I like the Buckeyes, because I thought he was really going to be good. And all this guy does is come in, ball out. Like you said, he is Mr. Uncontested Catch, man, or contested catch. He is unreal. Like plucking the ball out of there. He's so good. I mean, you don't even have to be that accurate with him. He's got such an amazing catch radius. He just catches everything. Like for him to go consecutive practice after consecutive practice, the way he is, this is going to translate, and I can't wait till it happens.
One thing I think it's telling about how good these rookie wide receivers are and how bad the room was that they were coming into was Zach Jackson said the two rookies are galaxies ahead of everybody else on this roster. So, I mean, that kind of tells you what they were coming into, but also how good they've been. They've been as advertised. I think my favorite thing about the wide receiver room now is it's so diverse. We finally got a big body guy. We got a guy that you just get the ball to in space and he's dangerous. Zay Flowers-esque. We know a guy like Tom Munkin knows how to use. I mean, that guy just got paid. Tom Munkin just got Zay Flowers paid.
Yeah.
We have a legit receiving threat at tight end and Fannin. We have Isaiah Bond. Is kind of a chess piece, can get behind the defense. I just like that there's guys who it's very diverse. They can do many different things well.
Did you see the play yesterday where KC was 10 yards beyond the secondary? Just wide, filthy open. I mean,
yeah.
And CDT5 was shouting out KC here in the chat. And I agree, because another thing we saw during OTAs and the mini camp where there's a couple instances where he was dropping a couple passes or he was trying to go low for a catch and he didn't come up with it. By all accounts, he's caught everything, I think, so far in training camp. I haven't heard anything about drops. I've heard that he's scooping low passes and coming up with the grabs, the tough catches. Like, he caught that one that should have sailed over his head from Shador that he just went up, climbed the ladder, and brought it down. I'm like, this dude is awesome.
Yeah, his contested catch ratio is not like in Boston's realm, but it's there. Like he catches everything, man. Like I think he had we always talked about what a high contested catch ratio he had for his size. And it just translates for what we're seeing in practice right now. And it makes absolute sense that these guys are miles ahead based on the plays that they're making.
I'm old enough to remember when Jamar Chase couldn't catch. So, remember like that 4-day period when he was a rookie where they said, see, he doesn't know how to catch. Okay. So it's kind of like the same thing. Some early drop troubles as a rookie, whatever, like you said, that seems to be not an actual issue, not a real issue. Zay Flowers is overrated. I don't know. I mean, maybe he is, but I do think he's pretty good. I think Todd Monken just got him a pretty big paycheck. I'll say this. You can say he's overrated. The Ravens drafted a lot of wide receivers to try to get Lamar Jackson help, and he's the only one who could produce with Lamar Jackson. And I think Lamar is obviously a 2-time MVP. Great. But they kept bringing in wide receivers for Lamar Jackson, trying to get that going. And there's only been one guy who could make it work, and it was Zay Flowers, and he was electric. So take what you want with that. I think he's pretty good.
I think another guy that I just wanted to shout out on my risers, I've been reading about and watching some stuff, Daniel Thomas, our defensive back. I believe he played with the Lions, if I remember off the top of my head, last year. Defensive back, special teams ace, and I've been seeing that he's the first, I think he's cornerback, right? He's first cornerback to come in rotation with the top guys. And
I thought he was a safety.
Maybe I keep seeing I think he can kind of play both. Maybe he is primarily a safety, but either way, I think he's locked into the roster. And I think that Donovan McMillan definitely on this roster at the safety position. For anybody who's not familiar, that's he was a UDFA last season that we signed. I think he's kind of following that Ronnie Hickman route, man. Just come in here, work, and making the roster. He's going to play on defense. We're going to run a lot of 3 safety looks on defense, so our 4th and 5th safety are going to be very important this year.
So Daniel Thomas is on our lads behind Grant Delpit at strong safety. Okay. Is what they have him. But those guys are interchangeable at this point. So he's listed as a safety is the main thing. So
like you have a task to do from Jay Cuddles, by the way.
I'm not a professional dancer. You can't just dangle money in front of me and tell me to dance. I'm classy. But this, are you willing to start Shador week 1 if he still needs time to bake? Just yes. And I guess the biggest argument I've heard is if you start Deshaun, it's a lot easier to go from Deshaun to Shador. If you start Shador and he's struggling and you move off of him, you're basically sealing his fate. You're not going to go back to him after that. I'm just giving him the season, and unless which I don't foresee. Unless he is just putrid, like this guy just should not be on an NFL football field. You just give him the 17 games and let the chips fall where they may. Because here's the thing is if Shador doesn't play well, we're not going to win games anyways. Because Dillon Gabriel's not leading this team to any wins and Deshaun Watson's not leading this team to any wins. So you might as well let Shador have the season and just let it ride. And best case scenario, he's great. And we have our quarterback, and we have 2 first-round picks next year, and we're off to the races with all this young talent, and where the building blocks are there, and we're ascending. Worst case scenario, he's terrible. We don't win any games, and now we got 2 first-round picks next year to try to get it right at the quarterback position. It makes 0 sense to let anybody else take a snap at quarterback this year in the regular season.
Preach that. I agree with you 100%.
So. Did you have any other names you wanted to throw out there? We don't want a lot of dead air here.
No, I think as far as risers, fallers, that's pretty much it for my list. I'll let Kenny go here in a second. I just wanted to shout out, like you mentioned, Andre Schmidt. How nice is it not to have a kicking battle
I
or
forgot
kicking
about
question
kickers.
in camp?
So far out of my mind. Not even concerned
care.
about kicker.
It's great. I love it. It just feels so good to know that at least we believe that position is locked up. We thought we did with Dustin Hopkins too, but things happen, things change. But I feel good about Andre Schmidt.
Some would say I'm not even worried about that Schmidt.
I like it. I like it.
In my dad joke era.
That's the kind of dad joke only comes with having the second kid, right?
Yes. I don't even have been able to think of that with only one kid.
Yeah.
Never.
It's a lack of sleep and like all that just turns your brain, man. So I would just say one more riser for me is that entire defense. We just can't say enough about how well they've done. They're creating turnovers. The whole ball is air and breathe it in. They're doing exactly what they're saying. And I'm enjoying seeing those highlights. I would like to see a little bit more defensive depth, but right now against the quality of offense that we have, they don't need it. But we're going to need that for the regular season.
One name I guess we should throw out, and I think we did talk about, and Colton said it, Mason Graham. I think somebody mentioned his name, but he's been, if he can make the leap this year like he has so far early in camp, that's huge for this defense. That'd be huge.
Oh, okay. So we just got tagged here in Discord. Daniel OFUC just tweeted out, Todd Monken said he's going to start Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders in each of the first 2 preseason games. The next week of practice after that will decide, the next week of practice will decide who starts which game. So I guess this next week will decide if it's going to be Shedeur or Deshaun against the Bears in Chicago.
So you'd have to think
how much
who
do you need
the better week of practice and starts that game, in theory, has the leg up since he's getting the first crack at it.
I mean, that would be the logical thinking here. Just, I think this kind of goes against what you were saying earlier and what I think we all agree is make the decision sooner rather than later. It sounds like we're not going to get that.
I guess, and here's the thing is, say Shedeur wins, he has a great week of practice. It's next week, right? Not this week, not the rest of this week.
It's
week?
next Saturday is the first game.
Okay. So the rest of this weekend, next week or whatever. If Shedeur has great practices and he gets to start in that game and he plays well, then why would you give the next guy the chance to, why, what I mean? Like, for what? The guy's playing well. It's not like he's not getting, it's not like Deshaun hasn't had opportunities to play well also. So like just to come out and blanket say he's going to get this one. So what you're saying, he's going to get this one, he's going to get this one, and then you'll make your decision for the third game after that is who the official starter is going to be. What if they both play well? Like I don't know. Like,
are you worried at all that there's meddling, trying to squeeze any last bit of value out of what they invested in Watson? I don't personally. I don't see why they're messing around with him right now.
I think
I don't need to see any more of Deshaun. I don't need to see any more. I'm good. So I don't know why this is such a hard decision.
I don't think they're trying to. Here's the thing: Jimmy has no problem just lighting cash on fire. He's been doing it forever, and he came out and said it was a swing and miss. So
he also
it's one of those things
backtracked
where,
that this year too, which I thought was weird.
Well, that's what scares me in terms of like, that's why what I said at the beginning, it scares me that neither guy is taking the by the reins, and running away with it. Like, I think you're only messing with him if the other guy's not separating, in my opinion. So that's why I hope I'm wrong. Hopefully
it just
Shedeur
seems like
off
Shedeur
practice.
is separating. That's the thing to me is from what I see and from what I can gauge from people that are there. And then obviously the reps today was like, whoa, okay. You tell me there's separation. You can't tell me there's not separation, at least somewhat.
If there was, here's my things. I don't really care about Jimmy and I don't care about the media. If there was really separation, Todd Monken would be showing us that with the practice. He wouldn't come out 3 weeks before the games and say, this quarterback is going to get a game and this quarterback's going to get a game. And if you think Todd Monken doesn't want to pick a starter? of course, he would love to know who his quarterback is right now and start building game plans and building offenses around that guy. So the fact that he just won't make a decision, and he's already planning on not making one for 3 more weeks, tells me there can't be that much separation.
Well, just to reiterate, based on this tweet, whoever practices the best or whatever wins practice here in the next week will be named the starter for the first preseason game, and then the other person will obviously then slot in to be the starter for the second game. So that's how that's going to work.
Yeah, I can get where you think it might be meddling.
What, Kenny?
I said I can get why you can think it's meddling. I mean, like one guy has 6 interceptions, the other guy has what, 2,
1.
and there's a lot less. Or has a much higher percentage throwing. Has it like I don't know. I don't think it's as close. I don't get it. I don't know why. I can see why you would think that, but I mean, I don't know where they're going with that thought process that you just mentioned. I don't get it.
This says real quick. Martha says he cut Watson's reps today. At least it appears that way.
Yeah, we'll see tomorrow.
But we can't I'm not going to speculate off one practice. If it's the same way tomorrow and the next day, okay, then now we're noticing a trend. But I can't. It's not a trend after one day.
Right, and then I did see that yesterday. So Monday, Tuesday here were pads. Tomorrow's just going to be helmets and shorts, and then Thursday, Friday, I think, are back in pads.
So real football.
Yeah, I'm like, what? I don't know. Maybe that's an NFLPA thing. I'm like, why are you going back to shorts? Like, let's practice. Let's get ready for this physical game that we're playing. I don't get it.
Oh man!
All right.
Yeah, they used to do 2-a-days. They used to do, you know what I mean? Anyways, it is what it is.
All right, we'll wrap this thing up. We appreciate all 186 of you that are currently watching. Shout out to the people from Korea, South Korea. I doubt you're watching from North Korea. If you are, the only way to find out. Watching from South Africa, everybody who's watching, we appreciate that. Again, reminder before we get out of here, if you want to play fantasy football with us, you have until Sunday to join the Dog Pack and get signed up. That's jointhedogs.com. Become a Dog Pack member, play fantasy with us. Right now, we're sitting at about 10 fantasy leagues. Help us get up to an 11th or maybe even 12th if there's a push here at the end. Let us know your guys' thoughts by dropping voicemails at thedogspodcast.com or just in the comment section. Let us know who your risers and fallers are, what you think of the quarterback competition, who's going to come out ultimately on top. Again, we appreciate you guys being here, and we'll see you guys later next week.
Right on. Let's go Browns. Hoo, 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 hoo.
It's in our blood, it's in our bones, orange and brown, yeah, we ride for our own like a dog pack running. We ain't alone, game day comes, get ready for the show. It's our call, it's our bark, it's our song. We stand tall, yeah, we've been here all along. Through it all, the dog pound standing strong. We all dogs, yeah, we all dogs. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Follow us on social media at the Dogs Podcast and join our dog pack community at jointhedogs.com. We are dogs!
This episode is sponsored by ISSA. Browns fans, if you're into health and fitness, have you ever wondered how you could maybe turn those hobbies and your passion into an actual career? If that sounds interesting to you, then ISSA has the opportunity you've been looking for. ISSA is the International Sports Science Association, and they can help you become a certified personal trainer in as little as 3 months. And right now you can get $100 off your certification when you sign up through our link, joinissa.com/dogs, DAWGS. Now, certifications are 100% online, self-study, and self-paced. You can study anywhere from your phone, tablet, or computer. And the final exam is open note, open book, aka piece of cake. Except you fitness nuts probably don't eat a ton of cake, so let's just call it a piece of delicious protein bar. And ISSA has the #1 job guarantee in the industry. If you get certified and sign up to be a certified trainer with ISSA, you have a job guarantee or your money back. ISSA has over 10,000 gym partners that have over 73,000 open jobs for trainers right now. And you don't need a 4-year degree or a 2-year degree. You just need your certification to qualify for these jobs. So what are you waiting for? With certification this simple, there's no excuse not to pursue your passion and become a certified personal trainer today. Get $100 off your certification at joinissa.com/dogs. You've wanted to make a change long enough. Now it's time to do something about it. That's joinissa.com/dogs for $100 off your personal trainer certification.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.